The American dentist accused of illegally killing a lion has finally reached out to U.S. officials as Zimbabwe starts extradition proceedings against him.
Unfortunately, it was too late to apprehend the foreign poacher as he had already absconded to his country of origin. We are therefore appealing to the responsible authorities for his extradition to Zimbabwe, so that he be made accountable for his illegal actions.
The lion was a huge tourist draw in Zimbabwe. A conservation group says the hunters lured him out of the protected sanctuary before wounding him with a crossbow and finishing him off almost 2 days later. The good news, though, an expert studying Cecil's pride says his cubs will probably survive. They're being defended by his brother. So let's bring in our legal guys. Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor, is in Cleveland, and Richard Herman, a New York criminal defense attorney and law professor, joining us from Las Vegas today. All right, guys, nice to see you both. A lot to talk about here. Richard, it is legal to hunt a lion in Africa and in Zimbabwe. So what is your understanding of just what was illegal about this hunt?
Well, that's the thing, Randy. Everyone has this visceral response when you look at the situation, and it's tragic, and personally I think it's barbaric to hunt big game like this. But like you said, it's legal in Zimbabwe. They like it. They make money from it. They encourage it. And there are licensed guides who you, as an American citizen, if you want to go big game hunting, hire these people. And this dentist paid this guide $50,000 to take him out under his license and go big game hunting. And that's exactly what they did. Now, it was the guide who was wrong. It was the guide who took him in a wrong area. It was the guide who encouraged. Yes, you do. It's clear. It's unequivocal here. This dentist in Minnesota has no idea about what's going on in Zimbabwe there or what lions they're shooting. The guide said it was nighttime. He didn't see the tag. They shot the lion. It was a horrible mistake. And again, I think it's barbaric. But is it illegal? Here, I'm telling you, Randy, they're going to have major problems, and there's no way the United States is going to extradite, allow this U.S. citizen to
That's the only thing I agree with.
Racist
That's the only thing I agree with.
Zimbabwe.
We'll get into the extradition in a moment, but it wasn't what was illegal about the fact that the landowner where the lion was shot didn't have a quota for a lion for 2015. So, Avery, isn't that what would make it illegal?
Well, that's what I think the argument is. Remember, extradition really isn't, one doesn't have to commit the crime and prove the crime in the United States in order to get extradition. But the bottom line, and as horrible as this is, and I agree, I mean, what they did, this really wasn't a safari, it wasn't a hunt. They killed an animal, they lured Cecil the lion out. I guess he thought it was an appetizer, and then they shot him with a bow and arrow and let him suffer for 2 days and finally shot him. So the facts are outrageous, but on the issue of extradition, I mean, the experience of the United States, you know, we have treaties with Zimbabwe, we have treaties with France and Switzerland. Did we ever get Roman Polanski back? Did Italy ever get, you know, Amanda Knox back? The likelihood of an extradition in this case, I think, is virtually nil. But the United States can still go after him under what's called the Lacey Act, which prohibits crimes in other countries. And the Fish and Wildlife Department are not particularly crazy about this individual. They may very well go after him.
So how does the Lacey Act work? How could the U.S. go after him then? For what?
Well, the U.S., it's enforced through the U.S. Department of Justice. The agency is the United States Fish and Wildlife Agency. And if the United States can establish that there's a violation of foreign law, he can be prosecuted. 2009, they convicted him, according to the chief of that agency, with lying about a bear hunt. So federal officials have their eye on this guy, and they may very well go after him.
The Lacey law surrounds taking the carcass from Africa and bringing it back to the United States.
That's one of the things.
He never, ever did that. The Lacey law is not going to be applicable here. The fact that poaching is illegal in the United States as well as Zimbabwe, which is the first prong on the first question on extradition, that's true. However, this is going to come down by the Department of State, not the Department of Justice. And again, you have to look at the regime in Zimbabwe and think, would the United States really send an American citizen into that for justice? I don't think so.
If he comes out of hiding, and if they find him.
We wind up agreeing on that one point. That's it.
All right, we'll leave it there. Richard Herman, Avery Friedman, thanks, guys.
Good as